Okay.
So this time is my turn to give you some words about those parasites that are very important for the human. And God willing, I will give you, inshallah. My name is Mehdi Natepour. Yes. I'm parasitologist, medical parasitologist, mainly working in the field of the protozoan parasites, and again mainly in the field of malaria parasites that are very fatal and danger for human. I will give you some words about the malaria today, theoretical and practical for you. Right. Before I go through the main class, I mean the malaria, that's better. These are those files that I will give you, I will present you about them. But here, let me I give you some words about the protozoa, principles of medical protozoology. Alright. Before I go through the malaria, let me ask you some words, some questions to see how much do you know about the protozoan parasites. Who can give me just a simple and short definition about the protozoa? What's the protozoa? Can you get, yes?
They are obligate parasites, and they have no cell membrane, but they have they don't have a cell wall, but some have cysts, which protects them so that they can reproduce. And they are divided into 4 kinds based on their movement. Amoebas and flagellates and ciliates and
Yes.
another kind which I forgot.
Very nice. You gave me about the kinds of the phylums of protozoa, medical protozoa. Which kinds or which the phylum? Just definition about what's the protozoa. What's the protozoa? Protozoa. What's the element? What's the protozoa? I'm asking about the protozoa. You know, the gentleman told us very good. Yes, there are several kinds of the protozoan parasites, like the amoeba, like the flagellata, and so on. Yes, but I'm just asking and talking about what is the protozoa. Because you have passed some protozoan parasites. For example, last time, amoeba, yes, and something like this. But I change my question like this. What's the difference, or what are the differences between the helminth parasites and protozoan parasites? I think based on this question you can go through the brainstorming. I mean, what are the differences between the helminth parasites and protozoan parasites?
Protozoan unicellular and helminth.
Yes, very nice. Just this one. The protozoa is accretion and a thing that has got just one unit of cell, just one cell. This is one cell, but really, this cell does everything for itself. Digesting, excreting, propagation, multiplication, and so on. So I can review for you. Right, you know, protozoa is a kind of things that just has got one unit of cell, just one cell. All those processes that are needed for an live things you can find inside of this cell. Ingesting, digesting, yes. Excreting, yes. Breathing, yes. Multiplication, yes. So the cell is called like this, protozoa. Protozoa are divided into two forms, pathogens and non-pathogens. So some protozoan things are pathogen, some others non-pathogen. Okay. Let me move on the other thing about that. Last time, can you remember what was your lecture about that? I mean about the okay. So this time we are going through the complexa, right? Before that, let me I show you some slides here, and then I will go through the others. So principles of medical protozoology, because if I want to go through my lecture, you would know a little bit about the protozoan parasites. I'm sure you had, yes, at the first time, somebody gave you some words about the protozoan things or protozoan parasites, or not, just a definition. I don't know more. Definition, just short one.
Yes.
Okay, you know, at the first time, you should go through the principles of medical protozoology, and after that, flagellata, and so on. So, just I'm going to give you briefly about the principles of medical protozoology, and then I will go through the malaria parasites, that is one of the medical protozoan parasites. So my main class is about the malaria disease, malaria infection. But firstly, I would like to give you some words about the medical protozoology. You see how are these things and how they work inside of the human body. Just briefly. As you see, protozoa are organisms whose body consists of a single nucleated cell, eukaryotic. And there are some other definitions about the protozoan parasites that you see here. Protozoa are able to perform various vital and physiological operations on their own life. Protozoa have a lot of species, and about 22 of them are pathogen for human. The scientists found about the 70 3 or more protozoan parasites, that just 22 of them are pathogen for human. Yes, about 76 species of protozoan have been seen in the human. Just 22 of them are pathogen for human, as you see here. Although the number of protozoan that causes parasitic disease in human is confined, but some of them are very important, particularly in the community. I'm not going to give you all of them, just some of them, as you see here. There are some terms that they are the name of the protozoan, medical protozoan parasites. Toxoplasma. Did you have toxoplasma or not? Yes? Did you have?
Yes.
All right, very good. Or trypanosoma? No. Tomorrow I think so. Tomorrow Dr. Mohibani will come and will give you some words about the trypanosoma, leishmania, and something like this. Right. They are the morphology of protozoan parasites. You can go through the morphology of the protozoan parasites. The size of the protozoan parasites are very, very small, from 1 to 100 micron. You need to see very, very small. You should see these parasites just using microscope. Without microscope, you cannot find these parasites in the body. Body specimen we pick up from the body of the patient and we put under the staining, under the parasite, under the microscope, and we can see the parasite under the microscope. So from 1 to 100 microns that they are. Sometimes a little bit more. So you need 500 to 1000 magnification of the microscope to see the parasite, not less than that. These are the body form of the protozoan parasites, different parts, different shapes of the body. Why I do not stay above them one by one? Because I understood that you had overall about the protozoan at the beginning this semester of the parasitology. If you do not, if you don't have any question, let me know about the protozoan, for example, body and processes. But I understood that you had, so I just overall review and then I will pass it. Here, ectoplasma, because parasites has got two main kinds, main parts of the body. Protozoan parasites have got, these parasites have got two mains of the body, two parts, two main parts of the body. Which are these? Nucleus, protoplasm. That's right. And protoplasm, ectoplasm, endoplasm, and so on. This is ectoplasm, I'm sure, and then endoplasm, I'm sure you know more about them. Nucleus is very, very important. All things about the life of the protozoan parasites depends on the nucleus. Thinking very, very wisely, they think how they can prevent themselves against the drugs. So they go through the drug resistance. They think how they can move. They think how they can protect themselves. So nucleus is very important. It's the main organelles of the body of the protozoan parasites. Propagation, depends on the nucleus. Physiology of protozoa and parasites, some like the breathing, feeding, and so on. Resistant forms, that there are some resistant forms for the protozoa and parasites to resist against the bad situation of the environment. There are different ways for the propagation, for the multiplication, reproduction, for the protozoa and parasites. Asexual reproduction, binary fission, multiple fission, rosette-form, binding, schizogony or merogony, and so on. You can see here proliferation of protozoa, how they can reproduce themselves. You see here, binary fission, schizogonic form, and so on here. For example, here, binary fission, here as well, here schizogonic form, and I will give you more definition, more information about the schizogonic form, and so on. Ways of transmission. We are talking about the protozoa and parasites. So we are talking about those parasites that they result the sickness, infection. So how they can transmit from somebody to another body. Oral and mucosal transmission from eating. If you eat something, food, and they are contaminated with the parasite, maybe you get parasite, the sickness, the infection. Transmitted through blood, yes, like the blood, malaria that I'm going to give you a lecture about that. Transmitting through the placenta from the mothers to the embryo. If they cannot protect themselves, they may get problem about this way of the transmission. Transmission through intercourse, yes, between the couples. If they do not take care of themselves, maybe they get protozoa and parasite sickness, infection, and so on, as you see here. Right? They are different forms of the parasite here, as mentioned. The gentleman, there are different kinds, phylums of the protozoan parasites. Those protozoan parasites that are important in medical line. Apicomplexa, Sarcomasticophora, Celiophora, Macrospora. Those four are very important among the medical protozoan parasites. One of them, as I mentioned here, Apicomplexa, Plasmodium, Toxoplasma, Sarcocystis, Isospora, and so on. Which of these you have got up to know? You had the lecture about the Toxoplasma, yes. Sarcocystis, yes. Isospora,
Yes.
okay. Cryptosporidium,
Yes.
right. Cyclospora,
No.
no, don't remember. Okay. Babesia, no. Plasmodium, no.
Yes.
No, because I'm going to give you this.
We already studied about malaria.
Oh, maybe for example,
Yes.
that the professor told you about the as an example.
Yes.
Yes.
Not completely. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So there are different types of medical protozoan parasites that make human sickness. Most of them are Apicomplexa, Sarcomastigophora, Celiophora, Microspora. That you had some information about the Apicomplexa. One of them is that today I'm going to talk with you about that, and I give you a lecture, some lectures about them, or Plasmodium. So this is Apicomplexa body. Here you see Apicomplexa is phylum. There are subphylum, family, and genus and species that you will see very soon about them. Okay, that is here. You can pick up this one. These are my lectures here. You can have them there. Next, right. Malaria. Among the medical protozoan parasites, among the medical protozoan parasites, there is a parasite that is very, very dangerous for human, and you can find more mortality about this problem. And this parasite produces a kind of infection. This infection is called malaria. Which of you from Pakistan? From African countries? Pakistan, Afghanistan, some of the African countries, all of them have got malaria. Yes? Are you familiar with the malaria? Did you get malaria? Really? And Pakistani? No. It's very dangerous for human. So this class is around the malaria. What's the malaria? What's the life cycle of malaria? How we can prevent ourselves? How we can treat malaria? Because you are medical students and you will encounter with this problem in your country or somewhere about the malaria. So the malaria, you should know about the malaria more and more. The malaria is one of the most dangerous and important protozoan parasite among the others. If you want to see how is the situation of malaria, background facts about malaria. According to WHO, World Health Organization report, about 247 million new cases in 2021, 2022, more or less like this, 2024, 3 and 4, around 248 or like this million new cases and 619,000 deaths in the world. You see, 247 is huge number of human that those get malaria every year, and 619,000 deaths just because of malaria, just due to malaria. It's a huge number of deaths among the human. So malaria is important. You cannot find among the parasitic diseases even protozoan parasitic diseases and helminthes like malaria cases and death in the world. Approximately 80 to 83% of all malaria cases occur in African countries. And if you want to see how is the malaria importance, please read this line. If you want to see how is the malaria importance in the world, one child dies from malaria disease every 30 seconds. How long is I'm with you here at the moment? More than half an hour. Half an hour means how many seconds? Divided by 30 seconds means this number of children die because of malaria at this time. This is important of malaria. One child dies from malaria disease every 30 seconds. This is the report of WHO. So this is very important for you, particularly you are medical students. Inshallah, tomorrow you will, for future, you will go through the community and you will be practitioner. I'm sure all of you will encounter with the malaria patients. Malaria is one reason why many countries continue to live in poverty. Plasmodium falciparum is the most dangerous of the 5 human malaria parasites. I will talk about the Plasmodium falciparum and others in more details for you. Number of malaria cases and their geographical distribution are this. There are some problems that the malaria sickness resists inside of the human community, among the human community. The reasons are here listed here. For example, drug resistance is one of them. You can see drug resistance, fake of the drugs, you can see here, and so on, as you see here. I'm not going to explain for each of them because it takes long time. Just you can refer to the file that I put there. All right. Now, maybe you ask me, what's the definition of malaria? Because I gave you some information about the protozoan parasites. Now you understand what is the protozoa, what is the protozoan parasite. I gave you an introduction about the malaria. Now you know the importance of malaria. Why you should go through the learning malaria topic? Because I gave you just already about the importance of malaria among the human community. Isn't it? Did you put all of them in your mind?
Yes.
If you get any problem then. Right. So, now, main story of this class. What is that? Malaria. Yes, that's right. The main story of this class is malaria. What's the definition of malaria? You see here, malaria is a sickness because of a kind of protozoan parasitic thing. Malaria is defined as a parasitic infection existing because of one or more species of Plasmodium in human. What's the Plasmodium Plasmodium is the parasite of malaria infection, is protozoa, is a protozoan parasite. Short classification, if you want to understand about everything in the world that God created, all of them, you should classify them. Why you should classify them? Because there are a lot of things in the world. If you want to study about them, you should classify them. I mean, you should put the mere characterizations of them, characteristics of them, and you put these under one name, until you go through the understand about them, definition of them, and so on. So, about malaria parasites, we have classification. Short classification of human malaria parasite is phylum. Phylum is on the top. For example, you had Toxoplasma. What's the Toxoplasma is genes. Can you remember what is the species, the most important species of Toxoplasma? Toxoplasma. Did you have Toxoplasma? No? Toxoplasma? No. Toxoplasma gondii. Is it familiar for you? Toxoplasma? So you will have forfeiture. Okay. Antameba. What? Antameba? Antameba histolytica. The phylum of Antameba histolytica is Amobia. Right? The phylum of malaria parasites is Apicomplexa. There is differences, some differences between them. Just I told you these examples, you put in your mind easily what is the phylum. Phylum is on the top. For example, can you give me an example about the phylum in among the human community? Phylum, for example. We say human on the top. European human. African human. European human. England human. Asian human. Pakistani, Iranian, Iraqi, African human. So on the top is phylum. Then you can come down and down. You find more members under the phylum topic. Family, Plasmodidae. There is under the phylum you can find subphylum, but we do not know about that for this class. After phylum, family is important for our class. Salam. Under the family, Plasmodidae is genus Plasmodium. Plasmodium means those protozoan parasites that result in malaria infection among the human and mammalian, even birds, even lizards. But we do not talk about the birds malaria, lizard malaria. Just we are talking about the human malaria. So if we say Plasmodium, you cannot understand which kind of malaria, human malaria, or monkey malaria, or rodent malaria, or birds. You should go through the species. There are 5 species that on human and make malaria among the human being. What are these? Plasmodium falciparum. Don't worry about the Lavarania and Plasmodium inside of the parentheses. Don't worry about that. Just focus your mind on Plasmodium falciparum. Plasmodium vivax. Plasmodium malaria. Plasmodium oval or ovale. Now this, that's right. These 5 species of Plasmodium make malaria among the human being. Right? Let's we come from up to down. Plasmodium falciparum is called tertian malignant malaria. Tertian means every 3 days you find 1 day the symptom of malaria. I will tell you what are the symptoms of malaria. Right? Plasmodium vivax is tertian benign with malignant about the first one. Malignant means very dangerous. Benign means not dangerous. Plasmodium malaria is quartan. Quartan means every 4 days you can find malaria symptom. Plasmodium oval, again tertian. Plasmodium, now this is quotidian. Quotidian means every day you find the malaria signs in the body of those patients that have got malaria. So there are 5 species of malaria parasites that human can get. These parasites and the malaria infection. Okay, up to now any question? Right. Any speaking? No. Right. All right. Okay. Malaria has got malaria infection. I mean Plasmodium, human Plasmodia have got human Plasmodia have got 2 kinds of hosts. What's the host? Who knows? Can you give me a definition of the host? What does mean host? I'm talking about the parasites. What is the host? Can you give me a definition about the host for the parasites? Host is the
Carrier.
yes,
Susceptible for the infection.
yes, and the host picks up the parasite and keeps in its body and then we transfer to the host. Malaria parasites have got 2 kinds of host. Vertebrate host. Does mean vertebrate? Human is vertebrate, isn't it? So, vertebrate host, invertebrate host means without vertebrate. Like what?
Crocodiles.
Crocodile.
Snakes.
No, has got vertebrate. Like the mosquito. Mosquito. Invertebrate means mosquito. Insects. So, malaria parasites have got 2 kinds of vertebrate hosts. Vertebrate host, invertebrate host. Because we are talking about the human malaria, vertebrate host is human, as you see here. In human Plasmodium, man is vertebrate host. Reservoir, intermediate host. Now, let's have definitions about these three words together. Vertebrate, means spoon. Reservoir, those human that keeps the parasite and makes it in itself and may some vector picks up parasite from the human and transmits. Reservoir is this. Intermediate host means the asexual multiplication happens inside of the vertebrate host. Intermediate process means asexual multiplication happens inside of the body of human. There are mainly two kinds of multiplication, two kinds of propagation, two kinds of reproduction. All of them are the same. Sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction. Sexual production means fertilizing microgamete and macrogamete, fertilizing. Asexual reproduction means binary fusion, dividing. So, human is vertebrate host. Human plays three roles. Human plays three roles among the life cycle of the malaria parasites. I repeat again. Human plays three roles in the life cycle of the malaria parasites. Human is vertebrate host, human is reservoir host, human is intermediate host. Now you know what's the intermediate host. You know vertebrate host. You know reservoir. Intermediate host means asexual reproduction happens inside of the human. Second host, female Anopheles mosquito. So, invertebrate host in the life cycle of the malaria parasites is female Anopheles mosquito. In the entomology class, you will see what is the female Anopheles mosquito. I will show you here the slide of the Anopheles mosquito. Anopheles mosquito is a kind of mosquito that can transmit the malaria parasites from infected human to non-infected human. So, female Anopheles mosquito, it plays also three roles in the life cycle of the malaria parasites. What are these?
Invertebrate host.
Second one?
Vector.
Yes. Third one?
Final.
Thank you. Yes, that's right. Invertebrate host. Vector. Vector, what does mean vector? Means pick up parasite from the infected man, transmits to non-infected. Yes. Final or main host means sexual reproduction happens in the body of the mosquito. Means fertilizing microgamete and macrogamete. Right. And this is now let's move on the life cycle. Before I go through the life cycle, just here have 5 minutes resting, then I will go through the life cycle. Okay?
Can you this one?